Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the Let's Play series. So in the last episode we were working on the Charge Creeper farm. We got it done, we got it mostly loaded, and then we had some slight issues. We got ourselves this creeper head, and in between episodes we got ourselves a skeleton and a zombie head as well. You'll see my little pillars off to the left there for that's to get the skeletons loaded in the system. They are the hardest of the mobs. Spoke about this before. And anyway, we also got ourselves a little shulker box here with some skulls, and we've been messing around with the special arrows. We did get this thing mostly loaded. I think we've got we got some more loaded, but we still got quite a bit, about 7 more creepers to get in. Now we did change up our lighting here. I talked about it a little bit in the episode, just kind of breezed over it last episode. And we wanted to have some redstone lamps that we could turn off and on, possibly. So this row here doesn't turn off and on. We're thinking about turning the whole desert, but everything in front of that lever does turn off and on. So what this will do is we turn this off. This allows mobs to spawn when it's dark out. And then we can kind of sit here and wait for something to spawn. I'm thinking about turning the whole desert into the redstone lamps. This way we don't have the torches everywhere. But I'm not quite sure. I'm low on redstone right now, so we'll see. And so now if something other than a creeper doesn't spawn and we're not trying to blow up charged creepers, we can just miss with an arrow, then kill them. There's a creeper. So now what we can do is we can turn this on. Nothing else will spawn, and we can get this guy over and loaded up. That was our biggest issue in the last episode, was other things spawning and having to fight those while loading the creepers into the farm. I did think about a creeper-only farm and some other things that I was going to do in this episode, but I decided against it. We're just going to go with this. It's nice and easy. I can go off during the day and do some other things and then load in a couple of creepers at night. Ooh, run. Run. There we go. I've had one other incident since the charge creeper blew up, and I'm not looking to have any more. Dang it. I wonder, do you guys think fence gates would work? How did he step over that? Would fence gates work? They don't have a hitbox, but would they drop down in the hole? They view this trapdoor as a full block, so that kind of tricks them into falling. I'm wondering, I'm going to have to do some testing, and I meant to put a end rod here. The end rods just keep me from falling in, and I can differentiate between the trapdoors and those. If you do fall onto the end rod, the creepers will actually see you and blow up. So they're just as a safety precaution in case I back into one. So the reason I have a lot of things spawn pretty quickly around the island, I did do a lot of caving early on, in between like my first few episodes, and I did turn off the hostile mob farm. This way I could load creepers into this farm. A question I have is what affects these different mobs spawning? And this is the little drop chute to drop mobs in when we want to get some mob heads. And that question, I think that's what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to jump over into creative. And we are going to start messing around with the spawn eggs and see what mobs are affected by what mob caps. And if they've changed, because we've had new hostile mobs added, the illagers and such. We've had new passive mobs added as well. So I'm going to get some things finished up here, load in a few more creepers, and then once the day cycle comes around, I'm going to jump over into creative. Alrighty guys, here is a new creative world specifically for this little testing phase. Now, at first I want to talk about mob cramming. It's something they added into the game. I don't know if we have the option to turn it off. But I do know that if you have old mob farms, and you guys can see a little glitch there happening, the creepers look like they're coming from over there, over a ways. Anyway, once you get 25 guys in here, the 26th one, as you see there, they'll start dying off. They'll take suffocation damage. And sometimes a couple will die, sometimes one will die. So, I actually had to build my little chamber with a tube out the back so we could sit here and count how many hostile mobs we can spawn in. Now, I'm pretty sure as far as the hostile mobs go, that all these right here are hostile mobs as well. And I think it goes all the way over to the evoker. But we are just going to use the creepers for our counter. We have a little counter built on the side right here, as you can see. And we're going to keep dropping these guys in until we get to a max cap. And then I'm going to go through all the different spawn eggs that are hostile mobs. The old mob cap, I'm pretty sure, was around 75 for hostile mobs. It was around 50 for passive mobs, 50 for villagers, 26 for chickens. I think wolves have their own mob cap as well, or are considered. I know mushrooms are as well. I think bats are separate, and I'm not sure about squid. And some of these other mobs like the polar bear, I'm not sure if that's passive or hostile, because if you attack them or to get too close to the cubs, I think they'll attack you. Same thing with a shulker. I mean, it aggroes you. But then again, so does the zombie pigman. Unless you hit it, it's not a hostile mob. So that's what this testing is going to be about today. So that's the maximum number we can have. And it looks like that number is 70. So if my testings were correct, that is changed slightly from what it used to be. So a skeleton is a hostile mob, wither skeleton, stray, spider, cave spider, zombie, zombie villager, husk. Let's see, I'm pretty sure that the slime, the witch, all these guys right here as well. Let's see, slime, witch, silverfish, ghast, pigman, blaze, cube, endermite, endermen. Let's see, where did I leave off? Shulker. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that this is, the Vindicator is the last hostile mob. So Shulker, Guardian, Elder Guardian, Evoker, Vex, and Vindicator. Those are all hostile mobs. Now, once I get done with counting all these mobs, I will go through and show you guys, break it down a little slower. Let's see. Mushrooms I know have a different spawn cap, so do chickens. I'm not sure about rabbits. I don't know anything about squids. The wolf does, I know that for sure. I don't know about any of these guys down here. And we have a new zombie horse spawn egg that I didn't know. So the bat's different. Then we have the pig representing the passive mobs, and then the other mobs we talked about. So let's start with the villagers, and we're going to dump some of these guys down the tube after we kill the creepers here. And I'm pretty sure that that was a 50 max villager cap, and I know that we've had some updates since I last did my test, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't change. Another thing I'm going to do in this episode is we are going to do, you saw it in my inventory, I have some name tags. We're going to name some of these guys and see if naming mobs affects the mob caps. I know in the Java edition you can name mobs and they no longer count towards the mob cap. So, die, creeper. Let's start with the villagers. We'll start popping those guys in there. This counter is just a very basic thing, and provided I don't sit here and spam these guys too quickly, it does do an accurate count. This is my third time doing this test. I started in an old world that I had villages and other structures loaded in, and I actually had a few passive mobs load on me, so that kind of affected my testing. And then the next world I loaded up, I don't remember why I changed it. Anyway, third time's a charm. So let's see, this should be getting full here shortly. Maybe? No? There we go. And that number is 50. So that was easy. And I'm going to keep these guys in my inventory like so. And then, like I said, we'll spread this out and I'll show you guys everything else in the end of the video. I also want to see, I know that passive mobs are not affected by, provided they can't move in a 20 by 20 direction, they won't despawn if unnamed. I'm wondering if there's any hostile mobs like that and so we're going to do a pretty big test with that as well in this episode. So now let's do the pigs. And there's a brief little cut there. We had to actually extend the, or widen the cube, because these guys were dying at about 60 mobs. So I don't know why the creepers did fine, but these guys are, maybe they're a 1x2, but they fit in a 1x1 area? I don't know. Let's see, in my previous testing a long time ago, the mob cap for these guys was around 50. I remember having a cow farm and only being able to load up 32 cows, about the max, and that'd give you, was that 16 babies, and then you could kill those off, and that's how the cow farm would work. That was really the last time I dealt with passive mobs, other than this time around, where I built a whole big farm, but I kill them all. I don't have just one specific farm. So that is a lot of piglets in the back there. Okay, so there it says excluding wolves, bats, chickens, and mushrooms. And that is 88 passive mobs. That is definitely higher than it used to be, by quite a bit. So, sheep, cows, chickens. I don't know about rabbits, maybe parrots. Ocelot, maybe. And then polar bear. I don't know. I think all the horses are. I know the llama probably is. Let's see. Nope. Or yes, they are part of the passive mob cap. Parrot, yeah, figured. Ocelot. Polar bear. Okay, that is considered a passive mob. Llama. Yep. Alright. Let's see. Let's just try the horse, the donkey, the mule, the skeleton, and the zombie horse. Yeah, I know the horses and the mules aren't. Skeleton horse, that's considered passive. Zombie horse as well? Yes. Alright. So next I think we're going to do... I think we'll just do these in order. We'll go chicken next. I gotta kill these guys off, of course, first. Let's see, we need a new potion. Yeah, that's weird that wolves have their own mob cap, but ocelots don't. I think it'd be cool if we had the different tameable pets, if they had their own mob cap. Of course, I don't really care about having... I think in my world I'm gonna go get a couple parrots, and I'll probably have a few dogs and definitely some cats hanging about. Just because I've never actually... I've tamed a cat to get the achievement. I've tamed plenty of wolves. I was actually messing around with parrots, but they didn't follow me home from the jungle. And the jungle I found was quite a ways away. I actually found a closer one, so I think we'll go burn it down and get some parrots spawning for us. And plus, I want to try something with parrots. So, when I first started up the YouTube channel, I wanted to do stuff like this. This is how I go through. I figure things out. I play around in different worlds. Let's see, we're going to do chickens next. These I have to do really slow. I'm pretty sure this mob cap is still 26. That hasn't changed. But anyway, I got on and started filming my series and doing a few tutorials, and I haven't really shown the process. So I want to take this time, and I knew this was going to actually take a bit. And this actually might run the whole episode, and I apologize for that. But I've got some plans for the future episodes that involve different mobs. So I've got a few other things, tests that I need to do as well, seeing if the difficulty affects the rate of mob spawns in the console edition. So we got a lot of things to do, even though this is all going to change here shortly when the new update comes out. Which will be awesome. Infinite Worlds has been confirmed. Anyway. This is how I do things. I spend a lot of time in creative. I've got a few creative worlds. We do the glass worlds like this so nothing else can spawn in it. And I was right, 26 chickens. And now the neat thing is you can have these 26 chickens and how many ever mushrooms and how many ever wolves, and they don't affect each other to the point where if you have a maximum amount of chickens, you can still spawn mushrooms in. If you have a maximum amount of chickens and mushrooms, you can still spawn cows in, or they will still naturally spawn until you reach the mob cap of them. So, I don't remember the mob cap for these guys. I'm pretty sure I tested it out. I thought a mushroom farm would be cool because we could not only get steak and leather from them, we could also come up and on the adults get some mushroom stew if we wanted it. And then I found out mushroom stew doesn't stack, so I ended up not building it. Plus, these guys are a low number, 30. I think that's a little bit higher than it used to be. And, of course, cows and stuff like that was 50 at the time I was doing my testing. So, let's kill these guys off before we have too much stuff in this tube. This little tuber over here. I'm an idiot. Alright, what's next? Let's do the wolves. The doggies. I got a doggy. I had to bring him in because he's out there running amok just before I started recording the audio for these episodes. So if you've noticed as I've done this, coming from the right-hand side, it seems, no matter which way we're looking, it always looks like they're coming from that way instead of just being spawned in. So that's a neat little rendering glitch, I guess. So I'm pretty sure this number's around the same as chickens, the 20s. Yeah, 26. Okay. That's cool. Let's do the squid next. Oh man, those guys drop fast. I wonder, the squid, I'm pretty sure it's its own mob cap. As a matter of fact, I know it is. Like I said, I've done the testing a few other times before, so that was something I didn't know before I started testing. I thought they were considered a passive mob, just the same as like cows and stuff like that. And I noticed that the spawn rates have been slightly tweaked on the squids, and it seems as I AFK in my base and I come out, there's a decent amount of them sitting in a certain little pool, so we might do something with these guys, which is what's brought on this testing. Plus gold farms and stuff like that. I've got plans. It's maximum number of squid. Okay. 38. I wonder where they get these numbers. Now, the only other mob that I haven't spawned in that has a separate mob cap is the bat. The most annoying mob in the game. So this is going to tell you what the maximum amount of bats you can have in your world. And if you don't want any more spawning around your base and stuff, you can go ahead and, you know, name tag these guys, put them in a cave. Well, possibly, I don't know. You might not be able to name tag them. That might affect spawning. But you can put these guys in a cave and keep the chunks loaded or something. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and that's it. So obviously these guys aren't affected by gravity, so I couldn't just sit there and drop them in the tube. They'll just fly out. So useless, 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 useless. They should at least drop leather or something. They're annoying. They're high-pitched squeals. So let's grab out... Nope, that was from me. Let's get us... 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So 26 for the bat. Or 28 for the bat. Jeez. Alright. And that's it for that. Let me get some things set up. Okay. I said this, I was going to go through this a little bit slower, but these are the passive mobs. 88 for their mob cap. These are the passive mobs over here. The pig, the sheep, the cow, the rabbit, the parrot, the ocelot, the polar bear, horse, donkey, mule, skeleton horse, zombie horse, and the llama. Next we have the hostile mobs, which can have a maximum cap of 70, and those include the creeper, the skeleton, the wither skeleton, stray, spider, cave spider, zombie, zombie villager, husk, slime, witch, silverfish, ghast, zombie pigman, blaze, magma cube, enderman, endermite, shulker, guardian, elder guardian, evoker, vex, and vindicator. Now everything else we already went through. Villagers, squid have their own mob cap, mushrooms, bats, wolves, and last but not least, chickens. So that is the entirety of the mobs that can be spawned in right there. Alright, so this little test over here was what I was talking about earlier as far as things despawning once you get out of range of them. I know most of those passive mobs aren't going to despawn, but I want to test it anyway. This little chamber I built was not only for this test. I've got another test with the name tags as well. So let's go up here a couple hundred blocks. Yeah, a little bit more. That should be good enough. And let's drop back down. Okay, as I thought, all the passive mobs obviously are still out and about. Villagers don't need to be named. The new zombie horse, that's cool. I wish we could get those in survival. Now, it does look like every single hostile mob did despawn. And these blocks were to block the sun from people, or from the mobs burning up. And then endermen teleporting and stuff like that. So, kill some of these guys off. Pretty much knew the results of that test before I did it, but why not? It's what I'm doing today. And I actually had a shulker disappear on me, so he wasn't in this. Ooh, hey, I think this guy's a little bigger than 1x1, but I did get to force him in there. So, all right, screw you, Ocelot. Let's see. Okay. Then we had a couple more horses. Mule. You know, I have never gotten a mule. I know you got to breed a donkey and a horse together. That'd be interesting to do. This guy. I like him. I think they look cool. And right there I see that shulker. You see him? So the shulker didn't disappear. He wasn't name tagged. As you can see, obviously I'm hitting him. Interesting. So a shulker will not disappear if it's not name tagged. That's cool. I didn't know that. And this feature right here, the pick block, 4J, Mojang, you guys, thank you. Best thing ever. It's my absolute favorite, especially working in creative mode. Alright, so for the next test, we have spawned in 70 creepers. We are at max, and we have named them all. Creepers. As you can see, we cannot spawn any more in. So, I'm pretty sure this works. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to get a ways away from them. I think you only have to go the 128 blocks, your spawn radius around your player. And I'm pretty sure you should be able to spawn in... or new hostile mobs will spawn in. Out in the wild, I think you'll only get about 30 or 35 creepers that'll spawn in naturally, and this is how I was getting them to spawn past that. See? So even though they're name tagged, they don't affect the spawning once you're away from them. And then also, the name tags do not change the mob cap. So regardless, you're stuck with 70 mobs max. I name tagged all these guys for a couple of reasons. One, so they wouldn't despawn as I flew away, which was something I did in my first test. Professionals here, man. Professionals. And as you can see, they're all still in here. So we need to do a little bit more testing on this, but not too much. The only thing I did forget was the golems, the iron and the snow golems, but that's no big deal. So let's jump back on. Alright, welcome back. We've done some AFKing in between, obviously. We got ourselves another charged creeper here. We're going to dump them into the system. And I think we're going to try to go for a skeleton head. I'm going to do it on camera. I keep talking about how hard it is. I've done it once before, but if you guys didn't watch that video, we'll do it again. Sun is setting. So I hope you guys learned something today. I did, definitely. I know from, like I said, the other few tests that you can spawn in like 70 creepers, and then you can spawn in, you know, 60 or what is it? Yeah, 88 passive mobs, and then you can spawn in a few chickens and so on and so forth. Like I said, the only thing I don't know is if the iron golems and the snow golems have their own mob cap, if they share, or if they're part of the passive mobs or not. So I'll do that testing a little later. I'm not too worried about it now, as I don't really do anything with them. So let's get this guy to follow us, and that's what these pillars are. These guys are a pain. He's gonna shoot the crap out of me too. Come on. So we kind of hinted about it in the... Get in there, you punk. Kind of hinted about it. I'm thinking about doing a squid farm, just because I've never done one. And there's my dog. Sorry, guys. Anyway, I've never done a squid farm, and I think it would be something fun to do. Probably use shulkers to kill them, and that's why I wanted to do a bunch of mob testing, because I already have 25 creepers in here, and you go down now, and I didn't want to, I want to see what my mob cap is, so I could figure out how many guardians I want to get over here. I was thinking 3 originally. After being down there for a bit, digging around, I think we're going to put 5. So that'll put us around 30 mobs. And then the squid obviously aren't affected. So another reason that we did this test. So we got this all scheduled up. I think you got to hit these guys with your fist or not a tool about 18 times. So I think we're going to stop at 16, but should be cool. Hinted about a gold farm. I don't know what or when we're going to do that. So I just wanted to do some testing and see how everything goes. Of course, that's in another dimension, so it will not be affected. But where did that sand come from? Oh, wow. I'm going to have to put a little bit more protection in here with some more obsidian. Anyway, the most important thing about this episode was getting this guy right here. Which I'm going to get about 10 of these skulls each, and I think we'll probably plug this up and just leave her be. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did. As always, we'll see you next time.